Hey YouTube, what's going on? Another beautiful day in Shayla here today. And let's see, it went up to about 74 degrees. And tonight it'll drop down, like always, somewhere between 45 and 50. So it has been glorious. Thought I'd touch on a couple of things. And by the way, thank you very much. Let me start with that. Thank you. We have just broken the 500 mark. I think we're at 501 subscribers. Took us, right, a little over a year. But this was a channel that was meant to be like a video scrapbook for kids and grandkids. And it's turned into actually a cool little channel. So thank you very much. We really appreciate you. And just wanted to toss out that thank you before we got started. We really do appreciate you subscribing to the channel, commenting. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, hit that like button, share with your friends, and comment down below. We always enjoy responding to the comments as well. And by the way, Lydia, we are going to start a Spanish channel, and Lydia is going to do ours in Spanish. Now, we haven't even set it up on YouTube. We haven't even thought of a name yet, but that's coming. I wouldn't be surprised if 3 or 4 weeks down the road, we'll start having our own little Spanish channel as well. So hopefully you'll enjoy that also. Today I thought I would touch on one thing, because we talked about cost of living, but what we haven't talked about are the extras. So when we went through cost of living, we tried to cover things that everybody was going to have. Transportation, food, groceries, restaurants, rent, utilities, cell phone, all that kind of stuff. But there are some extras. So thought I'd cover some of those today. These are just other things that you may or may not spend money on. So if you're going to be here long term, visa extension, border run, so when you arrive, you get 90 days. At that 90-day point, you can extend for another 90 days. Now, there's a couple different ways to do that. You can hop on a bus or take a taxi or whatever and go to Guatemala City. And in Guatemala City, you go to immigration, and I think it costs about $25, and you can extend for another 3 months. So you're good, really, when you land here, you're good for 6 months. When that 6 months rolls around, then you do have to actually leave the country. So at least here in Shayla, most people head for Mexico. You can go over there. I've gotten different answers, but a lot of people say you're really supposed to be there for 3 days, and then you can come back in and start that process over again. Now, I don't know. I'm guessing eventually, somebody might say, hey, you've done this, 20 times, maybe you want to apply for residency, but hopefully you'll figure it out when you're here for a while. So again, visa extension. Now, the second way to do it is you can get a lawyer, or there's people around that do immigration work. So we found somebody through some Facebook friends, and it's going to cost about roughly $90 each. I think it was like $88 each. And that's for our extension. So after that, we're good for another 3 months. So $90, and you've got your extension, you're good for. Now, the border run, I don't know that the lawyers can do that. I kind of think that you have to do it on your own. I'm not sure. I'm not an immigration person, and we have not done that yet. So my guess is, now being in Shayla, we're only 4 hours from the Mexican border. So if we have to run up there, go somewhere, spend the night for 3 nights and come back, that's okay. The only problem for us really is to find a dog sitter for Sam and Roscoe. But that shouldn't be too big of a deal. And it's just, I've done it when we were in Nicaragua. I went over to Costa Rica and had to do that. So border run would just cost you whatever it costs transportation-wise. That depends. You're going to rent a car, you're going to take a bus. There's a lot of different ways to do it. But that will be an added expense if you're planning on staying here. and you're planning on staying here without having residency, at least for, and I would say to anybody, if you're thinking about residency, you probably ought to come here and hang out for a while first. I mean, whether that's 3 months or 6 months, make sure, this is where you want to go, where you want to stay, so you don't go through that whole process. It's time consuming, it's going to cost you a little bit of money. So, number 2, and these are in no particular order, medical and meds. Now, we haven't done, the only thing that I've done as far as medical here is I did do a big panel of blood work. And that was, I think I spent about $100. And I will say this, the medicine here, now I only take one, but it's a blood thinner that I have to have, and it's about 25 or 30% more expensive here than in Nicaragua. So little bit of a bump there. Now, we pay out of pocket for everything. We do not have health insurance. We try to stay as healthy as we can be and keep money in savings. But, that part's something you'll have to, figure out. Here, there's private and public health care. But you will, if you're spending money on medicine, it's going to be way, way cheaper here than it is in the U.S. But if you're comparing it to Nicaragua, it is somewhere around 25-30% more expensive. That's just the one that I'm taking. Now, what you're taking, I can't tell you. But, you can call pharmacies here and ask them how much they charge. You just Google pharmacies in Quetzaltenango. Dental. Boy, the dental has been great here. Lydia has had a lot of work done, and I'm going to have a lot of work done, but it's really, you can get very, very, very good dental here. And now, the one we go to was recommended by lots and lots of people in the Facebook group, and they were right on target. This is on the 3rd floor in one of the big malls, and it is high tech. It's every bit as high tech as any that we went to in the U.S. Now, there are less expensive ones. Now, this one's still way, way cheaper than in the U.S., even with insurance. And there are cheaper ones, but you have to scout those out and try to find, which one suits you the best. But if you want really, really good dental care, first-class dental care, you can get it here, and it's still going to be way cheaper than the U.S. Pets and vet. So, again, this isn't for everybody, but we have 2 older dogs. Now, there's both 17. Sammy's a Jack Russell mix. His life expectancy is probably 14 years old, and he's 17. Roscoe is a Doberman mix. His life expectancy is probably like 11, and he's 17. So even if you have dogs, you might not have the vet bills that we do, just because ours are so old. They're 2 seniors, and they're both super healthy. So they're still doing really good. Vet for, vet visits, flea and tick, heartworm, food, treats. We're spending somewhere around, when you have to average in the vet bills, probably $200 or $300 a month, which I can't even imagine what we would have spent the last year or so in the U.S. Okay, here's one that you're gonna like. If you all are thinking, hey, I want to retire, but I really I don't want to clean my house anymore. Anything that you do here that involves labor is very inexpensive. And so, like, we have a maid now that's coming in, and she is absolutely wonderful, nicest lady you'd ever meet. So happy to have the work. And she's coming in 3 days a week. She's here for 3 or 4 hours, and it runs about $7 a day. So if you can imagine, so she comes in, And this isn't a huge place. I guess, I don't know, maybe 1,000 square feet. So it's not big, 1,200 square feet, something like that. Yeah, that doesn't include, like, we've got outdoor places. Like, we've got I don't know if you can even see it here, but like there's an outside area right there that Lydia's cleaning right now. And then we've got, of course, the big place on the roof where we take the dogs up to run around, and we go up there in the evenings. But inside's maybe 1,000 or 1,200 square feet. So we don't get it real dirty. But Doña Nudi, our new housekeeper, she comes in, and man, everything is super spick and span. Laundry's done. She does the laundry. She hangs it up on the roof so it dries up there. Really, the only thing that we have to do is later in the afternoon, after she leaves, we go up there and collect all the dry clothes and bring them down, and that's it. So, if you really want to treat yourself and you're kind of tired of if you're cleaning your own house, it's really fantastic. Alcohol. I'm not a big drinker. I might have one drink a week, 1 or 2 drinks a week, 1 beer. There's a place down at the park that has, and I can't remember the Spanish name for it, or the Guatemalan name for it, but it's like a fruit punch. It's a hot fruit punch, because remember, it's pretty cool here in the evenings. So, when you're out wandering around in the, walking around the park in the evenings, you get this hot fruit punch. And if you want them to, they'll pop a little shot of, you get to pick out what you want, a shot of rum or something like that in there. So sometimes I'll do that. That's great on a chilly evening. But alcohol is very inexpensive here. Now, depending on what you get, if you're buying something that's imported, that might be a little pricier. But like local rum is very good. Beer is inexpensive, about $1, about $1 a beer at the supermarket. The last thing that you may spend money on here would be trips. We're real fortunate now. We haven't done a lot, again, because we've got Sam and Roscoe here, and we still don't, have somebody that we can leave them with. But you're only about 3.5 or 4 hours from Antigua, which used to be the capital of Central America. It is a very, very cool place. Lydia went there. I put one video on when Lydia was in Antigua. So that's a great trip, if you're looking for a place like to get away for the weekend, or you want to go spend a week there. And even closer, about 2 hours away, is Lake Atitlan. And so 2 hours away, a lot of people call it the most beautiful lake on earth. It's surrounded by really cool little towns. Number one place where the expats go is a little town there called Panajachel. You'll hear people call it Pana. So great place that you can go escape, relax at the lake. We're actually trying to find a place. I don't know if we can find one, but we're trying to find some kind of little cabin or something like really, really close to the lake. If we can find one, we're going to take Sam and Roscoe and take them swimming for 2 or 3 days. Go down and swim in the lake for a bit. But that's another thing you may spend a little money on. It's not going to be really, really expensive. Very cool to go to Lake Atitlan. You will be traveling. You go from so the lake is surrounded by these little towns, and you take boats, these little lanchas, these boats from one town to the other. So you'll pay $3 or $4 and hop on a boat and go to another town. It's just way faster, way easier than trying to make your around these the streets around the lake. So those are some of the extras that you may or may not spend money on. Just thought I'd toss those out there. You can kind of average those into your monthly expenses. If you don't have pets, you take that out. If you don't drink, you take that out. You might not need any dental work done, but a few things that you may want to spend some money on while you're here. And anyway, those are the extras I thought I'd mention when you're trying to figure out cost of living. Hope y'all are having a wonderful day. Again, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. If you have subscribed to this channel, we really appreciate it. Our next goal is by this time next year, trying to get to 1,000. So thank you very much. And remember, if you are retired and looking for a place that's relaxing, that's wonderful, that's a little more expensive, hopefully you'll follow us on our journey. If you are thinking about retiring and wondering if you can do it financially, this is probably a great channel for you, and we hope you follow along with us as we go from country to country. And I hope you all are having a wonderful day. And remember, if you're in the grind, you really don't want to keep working, you're trying to escape that hamster wheel in the US, you need an adventure, you don't want to sit around your front porch in the US, remember, there has to be something more.